Hi, and welcome everyone to this webinar on hybrid work. This is Meetio's first webinar, and we have over 100 registered participants. Wow, thank you. A quick note before we start the webinar. During the webinar, you will be able to ask questions in the questions tab. At the end of the webinar, we will have a Q&A where we will try to answer the questions that you have sent in. Again, a warm welcome to today's webinar about hybrid work. My name is Andreas Lennerberg. I'm the CIO and one of the founders of Meetio. With me is Rolf Barkley, Key Account Manager at Meetio. Rolf, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Andreas. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rolf, and I'm a Key Account Manager here at Meetio. What I basically do is I strive to bridge some of our large customers' needs, challenges, and opportunities with the framework of resources and solutions that Meetio provide for the smarter workplace. I'll be talking some more a bit later on during the webinar, so I'll hand back to you, Andreas.
Thank you. Today we will talk about hybrid work and why we at Meetio think it will be how we work when we are coming back to the office. But before we talk about that, how did we get here? As you all know, about March last year, due to the COVID-19 virus, millions of offices all around the world had to close down or limit number of coworkers. Our homes turned into home offices, and our workplaces were left empty or with substantially fewer coworkers. The following months could be described as a form of trial and error in one of the greatest workplace experiments of all time. Myself, I'm actually quite the introvert, but working from home had me missing all my great colleagues and interactions with our customers, suppliers, and partners. I don't think I'm unique in that. We have all missed the social interactions, the meetings, or at least some of the meetings, and all the fun that takes place in the office. But at the same time, we have also experienced the benefit of working from home with increased work-life balance and less time spent going back and from the office. For some of us, it has been a relief to work from home, but at the same time, for some, it has been quite the opposite. Now, a year later, we're slowly starting to return to the office, or at least plan for it. In different speeds, at different companies, and in different countries. But people want to get back to the office. But at the same time, something has changed since we worked full-time in the office. In a recent study made by Microsoft, over 70% of the surveyed workers want the flexible remote work options to continue. In addition, 66% of business decision makers are considering redesigning the physical spaces to better accommodate hybrid work environments. The data is clear. Coworkers want flexibility, and at Meetio, we think that hybrid work will define the post-pandemic workplace. We believe that the office will serve as an arena for collaboration and interaction. Flexible seating will be preferred over assigned seating to better support employees, but also having more efficient use of office space. Going to our office should make an employee's life easier, not harder. The short time goal is a safe return to the office with maintained social distancing, contact tracing, and general control of how many employees enter the workplace. But at the same time, introduce workplace technology that can support our transition into hybrid work and be a part of our future workplace. With that, I will hand over the microphone to Rolf.
Thank you, Andreas, for some interesting facts and points. I'll just try to adjust my camera a little bit since I'm slightly taller than Andreas. Okay, folks. As Andreas mentioned before, a safe return with maintained social distancing is what we are aiming for, all of us. To succeed, we need to rethink our workplaces and primarily the office capacity. A lower employee density is the best way to make sure that the social distancing guidelines are followed. We have seen several different tactics for this, like having, for instance, an Excel spreadsheet that has to be filled in manually from day to day on who's planning to come into the office. Clearly, it doesn't have to be that hard or time-consuming. The truth is, we're actually in a better situation to handle this now than we would have been before the pandemic. As employees will spend some days at home and some days in the office, our workplaces will rarely be full. The occupancy will decrease, the seats will be left empty, and that's where Meetio will be able to assist you. Sorry. So at Meetio, we're noticing a greater interest in flexible desk booking solutions from our customers and prospects. Businesses are seeing great value in changing their workplaces from static to a more fluid one. By letting their employees book a desk for the days they come into the office, they will also ensure that there are never too many people in the workplace. No booked desk equals work from home. It's all quite simple, actually. If you picture this, you as an organization decide which parts of the office are free to book according to social distancing guidelines. Every time an employee wants to come into the office, he or she books a desk through the booking system that we provide. This helps you control how many people can come into the office each day, and it also helps you keep track of who has been in the office on a particular day. What this actually leads to is contact tracing without monitoring. So what we're seeing in the workplace industry now is a shift from the static office to a more hybrid-like workplace. The hybrid workplace is as the flexible or activity-based workplace, a concept that enables more individual freedom. It refers to having both a physical and a digital workplace, with the physical in this context being the office and the digital being the remote office that your employees can access wherever they are. Just to clear up some of the terminology commonly used, it could be seen as this, like this. Flex is about place and time. Hybrid is about digital and physical. Activity-based workplace is more about mindscapes, that is, matching work modes and tasks with work settings and ambience. So the question is, can these concepts be combined? Perhaps some food for thought could be something like this. A flex work culture can enable hybrid working from a local workspace that offers an activity-based environment of choice. This to support sustainable and healthy brain work for your core task at hand. So you can let that sink in a bit. Question is, the answer to that question, my previous question is that yes, of course they can be combined. There really is no right or wrong here, only possibilities. And in the end, how you define your intended way of working. So regardless of which setup you choose or define, an important success factor is that you need a solution that supports your intended way of working. In the process of qualifying and investing in a solution, our experience tells us that including representatives from all relevant stakeholders is the key to sustainable success. Ensuring having all perspectives on the table will minimize problems or friction further down the road, thus, of course, optimizing your return on investment. Narrowing this down a bit, the point is that there should be added value for all your stakeholders. This value could, for instance, be a low threshold for employees. Does it have a clear purpose? And is it easy to use? Free up time for IT. Is it easy to set up, manage, and have a low maintenance? For facility management, does it help you make well-informed, data-driven decisions about workplace design and also over time? And of course, for everyone, can it help you with contact tracing and keeping track of employee density? So the new normal, who really knows at this point in time, right? We think that businesses should assess solutions that are quick to set up, easy to manage, and are scalable. A solution that will free up time and promote productivity instead of the opposite. In addition, it should also provide valuable insights about workplace behavior, giving you substantiated indications on how to optimize your spaces. By knowing your workplace, you give yourself a smoother transition back to the office and in the longer run towards a new normal, whatever that is. In this context, it will most probably also be a competitive advantage in attracting and retaining talent. So before we go into some questions and answers, a quick glimpse of some of our solutions on the topic that we're talking about today. So we have a solution called Meetio Desk. Basically, it's about an app and QR codes. As an employee, you can book a desk from your app from wherever you are, at home or elsewhere. You check in by scanning the QR code when at the desk to confirm it's taken. If you do not check in the desk within a set time frame, it will be released for the other employees to book. That way, you prevent having a problem with no-shows and the blocking of desks looking like they're occupied. You can, of course, also book a desk directly by scanning the QR code on the desk. If it's already booked by somebody else through the app, for instance, you won't be able to book the desk. So this is a flexible, easy-to-use solution that targets and supports the hybrid work style. To mention a couple of new features that we've added into the app and that we also believe adds value for users is one, map in the app. You will be able to get an overview of the office layout for orientational purposes. You can then also book a desk directly from the app, from the map. Or if you prefer, there also is a way of booking from a list of named workplaces. So it's a flexible tool. We also have a feature we call Find a Colleague. By searching for a specific colleague within your organization and within the app, you can see if and where at what desk he or she is in the office at a particular time of the day. So that, of course, saves some time, and you should be able to benefit from that. Also want to give a quick note that the app can, of course, also be used for finding and booking rooms, which is also integrated. So our final slide here before going into some questions and answers, just to give you an overview, Meetio provides smart workplace solutions that support employees in their current tasks by enabling flexible ways of booking desks, rooms, and spaces. Intuitive visualization of office spaces, for instance, view on a map, which you can see on the picture, and with the map in app previously mentioned. And the end goal is, of course, giving them, that is, the employees, a full service experience. For businesses, solutions that are easy to implement and manage and gives an increased business intelligence of sorts of your workplaces. So this concludes the webinar, and we are now open for some questions, hopefully. I'll get back with Andreas here.
Well, we have got a couple of questions. The first question is it possible for users to book desk from the web as opposed to the app? And we have something coming up for that. It's in beta right now. It's called Meetio Book right now, and
Exciting.
We will be telling you more about that maybe in an upcoming webinar. So right now, you if you're interested, you can try the beta.
Correct. Yes.
There's also a question: is there a way to visualize which desks that are booked? Do you want to answer that?
Sure. Yes, there is. The way this works is that we will place workplaces. So think as clusters of desks within a specific workplace. That could be, for instance, HR or sales or IT, or just a general naming. What you will be able to see there is that how many desks are actually free to book. And there will be a possibility to, you get a desk assigned, I should say, but if you want to change that desk, there will also be provided a possibility to do that. So hopefully that answers that question.
And if you have follow-up questions, don't hesitate to ask them, of course. I'm looking at more questions. I'm reading, sorry. A follow-up question maybe. Understand, using Meetio map, now I will be able to book desk conference room over mobile. Is it possible to book a desk conference room over wayfinding screen mounted on floor? And room, you can definitely book on a wayfinding screen, and desk is coming as well. Next question.
Any more questions?
Do you want to? Yeah. Is it possible to book others if you want to work as a group close to each other? Do you want to answer that?
Well, yes, this is a topic, and some customers are asking for this. Also, a feature that we are working on. Just to clarify, what we are thinking about in this context is that the app we see as a personal tool, which means it's based on your personal need to book resources. But we are actually looking into making it possible for somebody to book a team, for instance, that has to collaborate and sit together, and perhaps highlighting that person to enable to do that. So it's a coming feature, most probably.
Next question is it possible to inactivate people search? Yes, it will be, of course. Worth mentioning there, it's not GPS, so you don't know where everyone is at the exact time. You only know where they are when they have checked into a desk. But you can definitely inactivate that, and you can do that both on a personal level, but also for the entire organization. So you can definitely do that. Next question is, can you integrate the room booking from the map with MS Exchange? And yeah, that is very much possible. That's something we have supported for. I think that was actually the first integration we did with the Meetio View, and that was against MS Exchange. So that's definitely possible to do that. And we support Office 365 and G Suite as well, of course.
Yes.
Have I missed any questions? We have one more here. Um, in order to integrate with other third-party systems, how uh, do we have an API? I guess the question is, and integrations against Microsoft Teams, Slack, and check availability for desk. We For desk, we actually have an OpenAI that you can get access to make your own integrations. We are working with Microsoft actually to integrate more to Teams, and so you actually that's a feature that's out now that you can join and add team links from the app. But we will also add Teams integration so you can book desks in Teams. But there's an open API in the bottom, so you can do integrations yourself, and we will be adding more functionality to that as we work on it, basically.
Yeah. This is just to elaborate a little bit on that. These concepts are very much evolving all the time. I mean, we're talking a little bit about coming features, and this is a concept work with our brilliant development team having their eyes on this. And of course, what drives us is you guys. I mean, our customers and partners' needs. So we're all in this together, and that would be our guiding star. So nothing about this is static.
Next question is geolocation integration possible? Purpose to have auto check-in and auto check-out desk booking. And now I'm not a developer, I need to start with saying, but with the desk API we have, it should be possible to do an integration if you have some kind of geolocation system. I think it's not something we have native today. It's an interesting question. I don't have a better answer than that. Maybe that we can look into it. Yeah. Do you have something to add?
No, depending on the purpose with the question, I mean, is it about tracking or is it about positioning?
I think auto check-in.
Auto check-in. Okay, sorry,
desks.
that was
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely something that we're looking at. I mean, these questions are not unfamiliar to us. It's about finding the right and most effective way in doing these things.
We have definitely looked at geolocation technologies. I mean, there's a couple out there: Wi-Fi geolocation, Bluetooth LE, and normal GPS. And we actually have some GPS functionality in the app, so you get the rooms that are the closest to you. But when you come down to the distance you have between desks, that isn't very far. Those technologies start to struggle to be accurate enough to give you a good experience, or give the employees and coworkers a good experience. So we're looking at it, but we haven't really found something that's accurate enough. But I mean, it's evolving all the time, so maybe something will be there in the future.
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah. Next question: is the app available for both Android and iOS? And yes, it is. Unfortunately, not for Windows Phone, if someone is using that still. But for iOS and Android, the app is available, and you can download it from Google Play Store and App Store, it's called, right? Yeah. And it's also, you can deploy it through the MDMs or MAMs you have as well. Yeah. Have I missed any questions? I don't think so.
A lot of great questions, Andreas, right?
Yeah, very good. There's one more. Is there ability to auto detect desk near to the team member? Um, I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what you mean, to be honest. Do you, Wolf?
Out detect if you're within a proximity to a team member, or how was the question phrased?
Is there ability to auto detect desk near to the team member in this Meetio? It maybe it's a question about kind of see if there are desks available near a team member. I will interpret in that way, and that's actually why we added a finding colleague function. So you will find the colleague, and then you can see if there are desks available close to that. So yeah, yes is the answer is if that's the question, and that's through the finding a colleague function.
Yeah.
And next question is the apps able to log in with Office 365 accounts? And yes, both um, uh, both Android and iOS actually uses Office 365 Exchange or D Suite as the way to authenticate users against the system. So users don't have a separate account, Meetio account.
Use
They
your
use
own
their
credentials.
normal Office 365 G Suite or Exchange account. So it's single sign-on, and we support all the modern authentication methods there. So it's multi-factor if you have that enabled, and yeah, so it's definitely a very smooth experience logging into the apps.
Yeah.
Great. Any plans on developing RFID check-in? I don't know if that's for room or desk. We have a functionality in room for RFID check-in. Um, on desk, we're looking at it. It could be an alternative to QR code, and we have done some proof of concepts actually on it, but um, we kind of opted for the QR code because it's really easy to deploy. You can basically you can print the QR codes yourself, or use a supplier to print them, and it's really easy to deploy around the world instantly. Basically, it takes a few minutes to deploy. A QR code would be a little bit more. It would take more time and more setup, so that's why we opted for a QR code. So maybe on that.
We're open for it.
Yeah, and you can of course do your own API integration if you want that. So you can support it yourself. Um,
And Andreas, I mean, that's worth highlighting a bit.
Yeah.
The way Meetio's philosophy in this is we look at the openness of it. We very much look into APIs, which will enable a lot of our customers to do whatever types of integrations they think would add value in conjunction with the Meetio system.
Yeah, and that's how we have approached the booking systems, Office 365 Exchange and G Suite is through their open APIs, of course, but also doing stuff that you can integrate other systems without the two starting to fight with each other. So we would, of course, like you to utilize systems from us exclusively, but you can combine us with other systems and it should work and it will work. And yeah, there was actually a question that kind of was related to that. Can the booking system be synced or included in the app, in an app developed by us? So the question is yes, I would say. Through the API, you could do your own functionality to book the desk and see which are available. And when it comes to Meetio Room, as I mentioned just previously, we're like, it's you're using the calendar system you're using, you can integrate with that. We will support that without any problems. Like if you book through your own app, we will show that outside the meeting room and on our maps and Meetio and in the app. So I would say yes to that. Next question is the desk solution standalone or integrated into Office 365? That's a two-part question almost. So it's standalone. The desks, the data for the desk, it doesn't live in Office 365 Exchange or G Suite. That's our own calendaring service. But it's integrated in the way that we talked about earlier, that you log in with the help of your Office 365 account or Exchange or G Suite. So it's integrated, but the desk resources, as we call them, are standalone, and those doesn't live in the Exchange or G Suite calendar.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is you have a crazy amount of desk in an organization, and maybe not so many meeting rooms. So that's why we didn't want to bring that into Exchange and G Suite.
Yeah.
Next questions. Are there any monthly payment options available? And that's a sales question almost. Rolf?
Yes, monthly pay, you could say that. I mean, we look at a very modern business model, you could say. We often talk about yearly subscription fees, which can, of course, be extended into whatever fits an agreement. But it could also be broken down into a monthly discussion. But we prefer to talk about yearly subscription fees based on what you need.
Yeah. And I think that's also to kind of minimize the paperwork included.
Yes,
but we're definitely open to monthly as well. I think talk to your sales rep and we can definitely.
Exactly. I mean, we could provide it. Yes, that will be the short answer to that question, depending on scope. And
great. I think we're starting to go over time here, and we're out of questions as well. So thank you very much for tuning into this webinar. And if you have any feedback, don't hesitate to contact us. And if you want to hear about something else in an upcoming webinar, please send that in as well, and we will try to oblige.
yes.
Thank you very much, and have a really nice day.
Yeah, and a final note from me is that hopefully you got some takeaway, tick some boxes that you already knew about, or something that's added in terms of perspectives. The webinar was short and sweet, and we appreciate all the brilliant questions, and look forward to further discussions, of course. So thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.